What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into Gears Esports Pro League. I am Colin the Crow Clark, and I am going to tell you right now that that man right over there is Jacob MVPR. That handsome face, that gorgeous face, that stunning face, that physique like a Greek god just should be bronzed and put in front of every major Capitol building on the planet. Look at how amazing he looks today.
I knew I had this for a reason. I feel like Brock Lesnar right now, and you're my Paul Heyman. Can we do that from now on?
Yeah,
because an introduction like that, I feel like only somebody like Brock Lesnar can have. And thank you, Colin. Man, this is a great start already.
Hey, it's feeling good, feeling great. It is a great start because we've got a great day of Pro League ahead of us, and I'm going to tell you right now, these standings, they might be a little unexpected from what you're used to in Pro League, or they might be exactly what you want if you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Knights sitting at number 1. But right there in the middle, looking at Rise with a loss, Pioneers with a loss. Fury 1 has given everybody their best out thus far, sitting at 2-2. What's your biggest surprise?
I mean, besides Fury 1, I'll say that one. That one is 1A because there is one that is rather close. But Fury 1, even in those losses, those 2 losses that they've had, they've come out the gate swinging against the best of the best. The next big surprise is the Pittsburgh Knights. But is that really a surprise? Because I switched my pick on the spot just because I had a feeling, that Latin American passion that I felt deep inside. And I got ahead and picked them to take that series overall versus Rise. That's looking a little inconsistent, but a 3-1 record, you can't hate on it.
Can't hate on it at all, but I'm looking forward to seeing the come up of teams like Purified. With Toady on that squad as their IGL, we've continued to beat that dead horse, but Toady, he will always make whatever team he is on better than they were. But if you didn't see last week's best plays, if you weren't here to catch all that fantastic action, well, we're going to catch you up. Here's the top 5 from last week.
What you gonna do?
Gonna stick him in the body, but my man said, nah, I'm gonna get the heady real quick. Hold up. 3v3 over here at the other hill. Big body shots, getting damage, getting downs. They're not gonna be able to clean any of these up. This was the problem that they had on execution. But now, Crystallize.
Dance on him. Dance on him.
Be live off, so 3 players left alive for Rise. Pioneers have to push it. They got a 3v4 situation. They need to try to push up into this hill, try to get into a position to get a kill here on a Detox. Detox playing black, hot plant. Will get some damage out, but double bounce in. There's the back A. Goes for a second. Oh, baby. Somebody. Hey, man. Detox.
Still a chance for Team Queso, though, to capitalize off of that kill from Chavi, and it's going to be Sleeper walking in with the torque. 3 more bolts to his name. Again, going to fall a bit short. Purified still fighting, but Sleeper staying alive. He has not died yet. I think he still has 2 more bolts to the torque bow, but he knows the Gnasher a lot stronger in this moment. Shoulder to shoulder with his brother, forcing Purified back. Gary on the ground, Cardia. He's going to be weak, but managed to get the pickup regardless. He's down and out. That's 2 gone. Adverse now up ahead. Sleeper is on an absolute tear.
Parent about Toadie's playstyle. He's always led by example. He likes to put himself back for his teammates. 1 bolt left for Sleeper. He's going to put it right here at this cubby corner. He's going to get the splash damage chunk as well. Sleeper, like you said, on a tear. He's 11-3. Lap shot, 12-3. I'm getting a ton of assists for a lot of damage.
Oh my.
But he's getting the 600 HP there. He's getting this.
Towards the down low, they're getting that information that they need. Headshot from Demon. Throw away all their advantages without even making any offensive moves. But it looks like finally they're trying to make a play. But Chop
can't push that though.
Insane. Look at Team Queso, they're just scared right now. They should be. They should be more scared.
Adverse is going to go down as well. Toadie's here with that incendiary. This is danger zone for everybody, and it's going to be the danger zone for Chavi. Another one out, and it looks like Toadie's staying alive. I'm staying alive. Staying alive. Toadie's got one to go. He's my man's got weight, and he's throwing it around. Hit me with the replay.
I love Toady.
Hit me with it.
That's my best friend right there.
If that don't get you revved up like a Lancer chainsaw ready to roll out of spawn today for some of the best pros on the planet to go head-to-head, I don't know what will. You better check your pulse, because I'm certainly alive, just like my man Toady was at the end of that round, Jacob.
Yeah, that's what has me jumping right in there. He's staying alive. You got to go ahead and shout out Colin for that one because Colin, man, I swear you think 9, 10 steps ahead when you're casting, when you're making these calls, when you do. But that's why I feel like you are the best of the best.
It's hard to think 9 or 10 steps ahead when your brain's being jumbled up by a hamster and a wheel, man. It's going as hard as it can. I keep it fed. I keep a little water bottle in there, but that boy, he running his legs off. He's running his legs off indeed, just like we are going to hit the ground running today. We got some fantastic matchups for you all to take in. We're going to start off with Discipline, Fire, and Ice. The battle of the winless. Who's going to come out on top? And then Team Queso. They've got to go up against the Pioneers team, who has had some struggles, some up and downs. They're looking a bit more like a roller coaster than that dominant squad we've seen time in and time out. And to finish the night off, we've got the boys from Rise going up against that Purified squad, who keep showing flashes of greatness, but have yet to really show their top potential. We do got some side station matches going on. We'll get that information to you as soon as humanly possible. As a matter of fact, I could probably pull that sucker up on my phone and just tell you, because I'm pretty sure one of those matchups is one of them that I'd love to keep an eye on. It's Fury 1 versus E United. And then on the opposite side, right after that matchup, we do have... Oh, that's it. That's it. Never mind. I thought we had...
say, but wait, there's more. You had me. I was like, wait a minute. Colin got a match.
Didn't we have a... No. See, I thought we had a match that got postponed or something. I don't remember what it was, but like somebody showed up late. Maybe it was getting played a day later, $1 short, one way or the other. You got one offside station matchup. It's Fury 1 and E United, 3 here on the main broadcast, one way or the other. You got to get into your seat, belt buckled up, and get ready for this first matchup. Fire and Ice versus Discipline. 2 winless teams, Jacob. Somebody's got to get a dub here, though.
Yeah, no, I went ahead and made the joke. I called them the winless wonders last time I was here on the broadcast, and that's just it. Right now, it's just one of those things, man. It's just you're going through the motions at this point. You're going through the blender, and for Fire and Ice is one of those squads that, you know, it's just kind of bound to happen. But today's the day. Today is the day. You got to look at the bright side. I said it to Reflections. I'm a glass half full type of guy. Everything's going to be put behind you. But let's introduce Fire and Ice. This is one of those teams, the organization that's been in the team for quite a while. Gnash, Toxiq, Solar, Rapidz. They have an aggression first mindset. They're one of those teams that is just always just moving forward, and that's one of those things that also hurts them along the way. Colin, I got to go ahead and think, what do you think of this squad?
I really love this squad. I just wish they were a little bit more composed. There are so many times where they have control over the map, control over their matchup, and then something kind of goes wrong. It's like somebody throws that stick into the wheel of their bicycle, and they're going to trip up come hell or high water. They're not going to even pull that thing out in time to get it out of there. They just fall to pieces. That's what I worry about with this squad. It seems like one little misstep sets them back 4 or 5 different steps, but they're going up against a squad that's got some questions of their own they got to answer. It's going to be discipline. A lot of mechanical skill on this squad from Gimmo, Juhvon, Tatis, and of course Inovates. These 4 guys very technically sound, but are not there yet when it comes, in my opinion, to the maturity, to understanding where they are on the map at all times and making those best possible plays. Jacob, do you agree with that sentiment? Do you think that they're just struggling to make those BPPs?
Yeah, no, I think there's an irony in the name itself, Discipline, because I think you're 100%. You hit that nail on the head like Bob the Builder himself. They have all the mechanical skill in the world. They can do anything when it comes to those individual battles, the 2v2s, but they have no discipline. They don't have that go ahead and grind mentality, that championship mindset. And I think that's going to hurt them. But this is also their first split this first season into the Pro League. Sometimes it does take getting knocked down before you can get yourself back up and look to better things.
Well, somebody that's always going to be able to get back up and go to the next fight is our player to watch in this matchup. It's going to be Toxiq from Fire and Ice. He's a little bit of a struggle there in the KDA, but I like these 2 new stats we've got. Execution kill participation, meaning how many people are dying in their execution matchups with his help, whether it be the mark, the damage, the down, whatever it may be. He's up there in the top 10 of that. And if you look at the escalation average assists, he's helping his squad out in those as well, because he's all the way there at 2nd place in escalation assists. I mean, that tells me that Toxiq is trying to help his teammates out in every situation.
Yeah, that's one of those teammates that, you know, it's selfless. They do not care how the job gets done, as long as it does get done at the end of the day. It might look messy. It might come down to a battle, but it's him who kind of stands tall, or at least his teammate by the looks of it when it comes to the stats. And that 30% when it comes to it, you got to think there's 4 players on the team, 25% each. So he's doing more than just his share when it comes to a lot of those occasions. So he's definitely going to be that player to watch in today's series, especially going up, I think, the more inexperienced discipline roster.
Well, if we want to know where he's going to be trying to get those kill participations, where he's going to try to get those assists on Escalation, there's only one place we can find that. It's our picks and pans, baby. We got to take a look at where we're going to be rolling out a spawn on. Discipline picks Regency. Fire and Ice, though, they're getting the execution on Tomb and the control on Ritual. Do you see something here that kind of sets you on the back foot, baby, about even your possible prediction?
I mean, realistically, the first 2 maps is a lot of aggression, but it also has that backside of strategy. If you can get your team into a setup on Regency, you can back row, you can cross players out, and you can use a little bit more teamwork. The same on Toon. We've seen a lot when it comes to regular season play, that middle, that sniper aggression, but when it came to the major, they slowed things down, so things could get slowed down. You could play a little bit more tricks. The same thing on training grounds. Because it is Escalation, because you can put weapons where you want, you can pick and choose what battles you want to take. So even though these map looks like it could be an aggressive mindset, you could slow things down just a little bit, but it's towards that tail end of the series, maps number 4, maps number 5, Ritual and Clocktower, that it is aggression all the way, that you have to go ahead and fight your opponent head on.
I really want to see a couple in that middle. I would love to see a map 4 at least. I love Ritual Control. I think it's one of our best control maps on the cycle in the circuit. I can't wait to see if we get to that map 4. But in order to get to that map 4, somebody's going to have to win a couple of maps to get there. So maybe we should talk about our predictions, Jacob, and I'm going to start this thing off first. I think, without a doubt, Fire and Ice finds their first win here. I go with that basically because I think they're the little bit more experienced team. You know, I've seen some of these guys even having played on land before, so I think they've been teammates as well on land, Toxiq and Solaire especially. So I look at those 2 guys and say, I think that they've come out of spawn together. They have great chemistry. They should be able to take care of business against the less experienced discipline team.
You know, Colin, I always love what you said from the start of the show, but I think it kind of goes before that. On Saturday, I said we're 2 peas in a pod, spaghetti and meatballs, Marcus and Dom, and our predictions usually follow suit. F&I just seems to be the more experienced squad, and I had a chance to play against Solaire in a ranked match. That man is firing on all cylinders. If he could beat me, he deserves my predictions. I think Fire and Ice is going to take over this inexperienced discipline roster and get their first win of the split.
While we wait for the chat prediction to come on in, Jacob, I am going to say, I mean, the reason we're 2 peas in a pod, all my Gears knowledge came from you and the Funky Bunch. If it weren't you teaching me, it's Kenny teaching me. All of that, even Ribs. I'm learning from Ribs too. The whole Funky Bunch is represented. There it is, across the board.
They're learning
Fire and Ice.
I'm gonna have to get out some lessons, Colin.
You're gonna have to start giving out lessons, man. You have to start charging people.
gearsofwar.com/lessons/PR. Buy your ticket now.
I'll be first in line. Don't worry. I'll be there for the pre-sale. I'll be camping out. I got my tent.
List, I got you.
I'll get my coffee in that Big 10 mug. I'll be sitting out there like it was a brand new phone coming out, baby. I say, I don't even look at that. That's what I'm talking about. More fancier than I am. But what is going to be even fancier is all that gilded gold built into the beautiful construction and architecture that is Regency. We are going to Control for our first map. And if you're new here or new to Gears Esports, Control is a map played over 300 points. You got to stay in the hill, and the hill can be neutralized by somebody on the opposing team being in the hill at the same time you are. There are weapon swaps that you got to be concerned with. You have an M-bar up top, down low, you have that shot grenade, but of course you also have that initial hill here at the Rose Garden, and Tatis already getting shot up and having to roll back. He was tagged up heavily. Fire and Ice into the hill first, and I believe you could probably put that on the back of that beautiful smoke grenade, clouding up the judgment and stopping the return fire. Toxiq over the top, already got one. Now Solar and Toxiq get a second. That is a clean sweep of the team for Fire and Ice.
at least one too many times before, so this is going to be a great opportunity for them to be able to kind of bounce back in this situation here. If you are a fan of a second half of a season at that, because they didn't have the great start, but Gimmo trying to be the defense they need. There goes a down on the one, unable to get that double kill, as Fire and Ice will be able to stand strong. But the thing about those battles, Colin, those battles don't mean absolutely anything. That was for the side. There was no power weapon. It was for no hill over there. So Fire and Ice, even though they did win that battle, it only cost them an end bar. Only cost them maybe 1 or 2 shots. They're going to be the first team to rotate over towards the next position. In fact, they're pushing Discipline out.
52-0 on that first hill as well. Gimmo with the M-bar in hand tries to get that shot on a Gnash over the top of the cover. He's going to get tagged up. I love them using that little sneaky angle right there over the top of that couch. They're being able to get shots in through the window. Now he's tagged up. He's full down and red. He's going to be down and dead. Rapidz bouncing up into Inovates. Inovates going with a reaction. Double down on the screen. Who can get there first to save a squad mate? It's going to be Tatis, but he's going to go down as well. Gnash, he is soloing up the hill as he's going to try to help out his teammate. No help needed, though. Pulls the Lancer for just a moment, just to check him, just to body check him with that assault rifle. And now you see, it looks like Fire and Ice has not only won the first hill 52-0, they're just continuing to amass and amount points here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon.
We got to start thinking of something on the side of Discipline, because we said we both agreed they have all that mechanical skill, but it means absolutely nothing, because a lot of the skill gap in this game, it comes from a lot of that team play. It comes from how you call out, how you make that push, how you defend. Right now, Tatis going to go ahead and place that shot grenade to go ahead and cash Gnash out. Inovates is there to get the down. A couple of downs from both of these teams, but the only cleanup is going to come with Fire and Ice until Tatis go ahead and push through that back line. Finally, you're going to be able to score some points, but he's losing teammates left and right. The last one standings are going to be Fire and Ice, as they not only win the scrap time on this hill, as you can see, they're going to win the next M-bar and go ahead and get that high ground if they want to defend against those frag grenades.
Only giving up 9 seconds in the totality of these hills. They're fighting over the frags here at the middle of the map, trying to just make sure they secure another utility weapon. Toxiq tagged up just a moment. He's going to drop one behind him as kind of a bait out. He's making sure nobody's going to follow him here into this rotation. Fire and Ice, they're going for the close respawn. All 4 players mounted up here. They've already gotten one down outside. Now the M-bar revs up toward the middle, but won't be able to find one. The other 2 players for Discipline have backed up into the hill, and now we will see what they can do in this situation as Solar is pushing forward. A little roll there by Inovates, and he double bounces into his teammate. It's like he can't take the cover. He's just getting topped off over the bottom. Now he's going to go down. It's going to be up to Juhvon, who rotates in late. He's on the backside of one of his teammates. He goes down. Gimmo, he's going to be the next on the hit list. 3 players in the area. Double bounce after the down, but no cleanups, no deaths. Another perfect retake by Fire and Ice here in the early goings of map number 1.
They're going on a run longer than Forrest Gump right now as he looks to his teammate. I just kept on running, because right now I don't see anything that makes me believe they're going to be able to break this hill. With 40 seconds left, Fire and Ice right now can be looking to get a little offensive, because no matter what happens, they will have gained the majority of the time off of this hill, as it does look like Discipline might be gearing for a push towards the low portion of the map. Finally, one's going to break through, but they break through into an N-bar. Solars is going to go and get the first shut down. Finally answered back as 2 players from F9 will fall. Gnash gets 1, so it's going to be a 2v2 until Solars ends 1 more. Juhvon is going to be the last player left. He gets 1 down, but there's not enough time left on the hill. Either way, it goes to Fire and Ice, as they'll be the last team standing. But once again, Colin, look how quick they are to react. Straight off of the respawn, they rotate to the top half of the map, get next towards the hill, where they can possibly get the next M-bar as well.
I'm going to tell you right now, my man, you called him out just before this matchup started. You said Solar is going to be a man on a mission, and right there, even though we get double answered down for just a moment, that play was beautiful for me. The angles that he took, the way he was able to get all that extra damage out, really helped his teammates stay alive for longer. A little left-handed wrap, and then the back A off the cover, and a second one by Gnash. My God, you'd have thought we were watching Gears 2 all of a sudden, where people be getting slapped with them back A's, Jacob.
And this is just one monster of a game for Fire and Ice, Colin. Must have had some cheap gas prices, because they got so much more left into the tank the way You see them going ahead, lining up that backside. As long as they line up their backside the way they do, you see Gnash holding down that anchor. They know exactly where every single player is going to throw it in from. The marks are going to come out for Toxiq to try to line up those M-bar shots. No smoke, no problem as he shoots right through it, as he continues to get the marks necessary to back down the enemy players. And look at that in the blink of an eye. 30 seconds left on the hill. So no matter what happens, it's a win-win scenario for Fire and Ice, especially if they complete up these eliminations here. That's only going to be a down so far for both of these teams. Toxiq gets pressed, but that's not going to slow him down. Inovates goes back to the respawn screen, and with no ammo left in the M-bar, that's not going to stop him. Toxiq, 10-1-8, Colin, will continue to be a terror in this matchup.
He is not slowing down whatsoever. Fire and Ice, I like this aggression out of them. I like the way they've played this first map. They are up over the 200-point marker. They understand that both of these teams are winless, but this is a difference. This shows me what a team's really made of. Fire and Ice might have a goose egg in the win column, but they're playing every matchup to the bitter end. They're playing every matchup like it is for the lead in Pro League, and they are not taking this any lighter just because Discipline also has 0 wins. They are playing this perfectly thus far. I love this from Discipline, though. This is a great team setup on this hill. It's going to have to be a full 4-man push after these shot grenades break out. And now the shot over the top. Tatis hits that huge L trigger to get the down, and they swarm in, all pun intended, about the side that they're playing off of to get those final couple of kills. Finally, life out of Discipline. They could bleed it dry and get it to about 90, but they're still outside that 100-point club.
That was a perfect example right there from Fire and Ice, backing off with that shock, waiting for it to dissipate, waving those few seconds so they can make a quality push together. Unfortunately enough, that was a perfect defense from Discipline to go ahead and stop that push from Fire and Ice so they can start some momentum building. But you know what we always say, before you can build some momentum, you have to stop that Fire and Ice momentum that they've already built up on their side, especially with Gnash catching somebody from Discipline on rotation. That's going to cement them that position towards the hill first, along with that spawn point, and that's where they're going to begin to disperse. Gather that information of where Discipline is going to push from and set up to where they think is best.
Now you see Gnash, he's going to be mounted up with that M-bar in hand, just waiting for them to push in here. He sees that 2 are in front of him. They're calling out the different areas of the territories. Doesn't hit that shot on that player. I really think that's an important shot to even try to get off, just to try to stop him from pushing further in. Then he misses the misroll. He's going to be tagged up. He's full red from that middle building. He tries to rotate right, but he ends up going down. And now it looks like Fire and Ice could fall to pieces on this defense. There's a trade out, so now it's a 3v3. Solar's trying to push across the front of that big door. He's going to go down as well, and it looks like Fire and Ice, they're trying to take over control of the close respawn, but they have indeed got it as Discipline gets the call out from Juhvon that they have spawned on the opposite side of the map. So Fire and Ice need to use their numbers advantage right here, right now, to try to push one player out at a time. Wolfpack get different players. Make them make the mistake. There's the revive and the full triple shot in. The tried attempt to get the kill on Solar doesn't come through either.
I owe you one.
It's better late than never for Discipline as they're finally gathering up some points. Right now it is going to be contested though. 37 seconds left. They're trying to back down. They're trying to stay in the position where their Lancer can come through as Tatis gets one. Unfortunately, he gets a little too aggressive trying to be the hero, and that's a ton of scrap time left for Fire and Ice, even though I was just shouting out how good of a job that Discipline did make gathering that time of their own, but with shot grenades already up, you see Fire and Ice making a play for that one. M-bar is going to be up towards the top half. Frag grenades as well. Juhvon trying to be the defense. Juhvon, he gets 2. That's going to be a big victory, and look at him bleed them dry. He's going to get the M-bar as well. Rapidz gets shut down. Everything going to be a success for Discipline here, but they cannot stop. There's 12 seconds left on that previous hill, Colin. That has to tick off the clock before a rotation can come in. So Fire and Ice, it means absolutely nothing to them. No dirt off their shoulder, no sweat off their brow, because before this hill switches, they're going to gear up for another push.
And now you see what Juhvon's doing. He's trying to hide with his M-bar in his pocket, and he's actually going to get tagged up from the far right side of the map. There's the one nade. He's actually going to use a nade here on one player, and he kills his teammate. Toxiq plays that perfect to get the down onto him. Back A's abound, but the miss jump over the cover. The mantle is not what he needed in that situation. Now Juhvon revs up the M-bar twice. Doesn't get the headshot or the body shot secondarily that he needed to get that kill. So they will lose the hill. Juhvon will have 3 shots left, and I believe he has 1 more fragmentation grenade to possibly throw out. He has to make sure that it's used to its fullest potential. 2 shots left in the M bar. Revving it up. Doesn't find the first one. Now the frag over the top of that cover. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, but it doesn't get anything to go. Maybe a little bit too much strength. Should have done push-ups before the match started, Jacob.
Oh, you see Rapidz? He has ice in his veins. He's not taking any of those baits. He turns. He's able to down one, but that's not going to be enough. Gimmo shows up big exactly when Discipline needs him, but 41 seconds. That's the score that Fire and Ice needs. So at this point, you got to agree with me, Colin. Discipline needs to play perfect. They need to play true to their name. They need to have that team discipline as Juhvon is backing down for these short moments, giving up that spawn point, waiting for his team to rotate in, but Toxiq gets a flank. He gets a player full red. Solar's going to clean up the elimination. Tatis doing what he can. He goes down. Inovates is doing what he can as well. He gets one, but Gnash is going to be the only player standing tall on this spawn point. You see everybody spawning up for Fire and Ice. This is going to be one tough cookie to break for Discipline.
See Gnash actually rotating up to this top right hill. Discipline trying to push into the middle of the map. Toxiq, beautiful Lancer fire there. Will pick up one. Now you see Toxiq rotating to the right here onto Inovates. Throws that flash wide, and it's picture perfect. It gets the stun. It allows Rapidz to free run. Now Gimmo has to realize that him and Juhvon are stuck between a rock and a hard place, and all 4 players, 1 up A comes through. The second reaction's not good. Now Juhvon all alone at the backside of the planter. Gets 1 shot on. The second, though, is not enough to get the down. He goes out. Solar, front side of the hill, back A to finish up 1. Now he needs to worry about Inovates. Inovates with a misroll and a big mistime play for them. 24 seconds and counting. Tick, 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 tick. Coming through the last few seconds of this map. There will be 1 more chance for Discipline in this situation. They have enough time to throw flashes in the front, smokes in the back. However you want to look at it, it's probably going to be a mullet strat. See what they can get here. The frag grenades don't get that kill on Solar either. I mean, that's a lot of utility wasted, in my opinion, Jacob. And it looks like they're getting shut down one after the next.
A lot of utility wasted here, and that's going to be a big victory won by Tatis, but pressure's still going to be felt. 10 seconds. This is double the score needed on this hill. So Fire and Ice, they're going to go ahead and get that close spawn point. Gimmo trying to rotate over. He just made a big play. Can he do it again with the pressure on against this Fire and Ice squad? Solaire with the big flank. Tatis has to go big. He gets shut down as well. That's going to be Rapidz stepping up big. Inovates only goes down, but Juhvon gets 2. He's getting shut down. The score is going to be felt. Fire and Ice leading up to victory. Gimmo, can he get towards this hill? But he gets shut down. Gnash, it will put that final nail in the coffin as Fire and Ice stands tall to take a 1-0 map lead in this series.
That was a beautiful first map by Fire and Ice. I love the way that they were able to continue to control that map. They gave up a decent amount of points in the middle, and that's what worries me. Those are the things that still give me cause to pause when it comes to this Fire and Ice team. The mid-map section of that really got worrying for them, but they found a way to really solidify their defenses, solidify their rotations. Every time Fire and Ice is able to play with one another, where they don't get kind of crossed out, kind of separated, you don't see them being pushed apart like they got to keep 6 feet away from each other in this day and age. They can really do a lot of damage. But right here, right now, Fire and Ice has found a map win, and it has come at the hands of Discipline, excuse me.
You can kind of see it there throughout the course of the matchup, the way that one played on to control, because I think it could switch up on execution. It seemed like a lot of the teamwork-oriented play was with Fire and Ice very, very early on. They stayed true to it, making sure a lot of their pushes were team-oriented, whether they're successful or not. They made sure there was a Lancer over ahead, an M-bar over the top, making sure that those team flash and utility grenades were always there at that right moment. And on the side of Discipline, it just seemed like it was scrappy through and through from start to finish. But you can see the inexperience of Fire and Ice. When the game came close to finishing, they were getting a little antsy. They were taking fights that they weren't taking early on in the game. They were going ahead, trying to be the hero a lot of those moments. And that opened up that window of opportunity for Discipline to make a play. But when Fire and Ice said enough was enough, they went ahead and got those close spawn points. Combined with that fact, they were able to close it out in towards the end. So coming into this next one on execution, I'm going to need to see something completely different out of Discipline.
Discipline's going to have to be very good in their initials on execution. A lot of the teams that I've seen really struggle in execution are teams that struggle with their immediate play out of spawn with those initials. And one of the teams, I hate putting them out on blast like this, but it's been United for me a lot on execution. They have struggled to clean up kills on their initials. And in the opposite end of that coin, it seems like Pittsburgh Knights have been perfect on it. So both of these teams need to find a way to understand their positioning and understand how to clean up kills, really make those initials count, make the initial damage, the initial utility, whatever it might be. If you're gonna make a play call, be solidified in it as a unit.
I agree with you as well. And then you also not only have to have that loud voice making the play call, Colin, but I've always said there's certain moments you should die and be okay dying, and there's certain moments you should never die when you're kind of gearing up for a team. When the hill is about to rotate, when there's certain seconds on the clock, it's okay to die in certain situations, because depending on where everybody's positioned on the map, that could give you a very beneficial spawn closer towards the next hill. You make a fast rotation. But if your team is gearing up for a push, you get caught on a pick, you get caught on rotation. Depending on what the score line is, the team cannot wait for you to spawn back up. The team is going to have to go in a 3v4 push. So knowing when and where you put your life at risk, when you put it in danger, is, I think, a big factor a lot of these young guns are going to have to start to utilize, start to have to take bigger note on. Because even if you do pick up that trade, you do pick up that kill, it might not mean anything if your team is unable to kind of push through that 3v3 because the team or the opposition might already have that full setup.
Well, we'll have to see how these young guns start to figure that out when it comes to control. Right now, I said that I wanted to see that map 4 discipline. In order to give us a chance at a map 4 is going to have to get a win here in either the execution or the escalation. This execution map, this is a pretty interesting pick here, in my opinion, by Fire and Ice. As good as they were in a lot of situations, this map really does kind of separate teams out. It really plays a lot like old school War Machine in my book. The way that you kind of have that download Torquebo fight, then you usually have that 1v1. It would have been Windows way back in the day. Now it's just kind of over that mid pillar. And then, of course, you get that 1v1 or the 1v1 there at the mid bat, those sandbags, what would now be considered in that middle garden area. And then, of course, the long shot right there at the tomb itself. These things, to me, play out very differently dependent upon a team's desire. A lot of the times you'll have a guy rotate early or flank out early. How do you see Tomb for one of these teams playing out? Who's going to be willing to make those little matchup differentials? Who's going to be able to possibly overload a side and get an early kill to try to continue to keep those numbers advantage?
I think Fire and Ice kind of picked this map because I think it kind of allows for a lot of strategy if it boils down to it. But early on, it allows for that aggression up top towards the sniper. You know where that tree is at and towards that middle portion of the map. Like I said, that's where the meta has shifted. And I think Fire and Ice, if they feel like they have more of the teamwork, more of the chemistry, they can go ahead and utilize that portion, try to pick off a player, whether it's somebody towards the top or somebody make a late rotation to try to be the hero. But it also allows them to, if things get rough, go ahead and play into the old meta, slow it down, like you said, similar to that War Machine strategy. Play down low towards the Torquebo, especially if they're the first team to do the strategy. They can almost guarantee a Torquebo in their hands the first time they do it, try to catch a team off guard. So I think Fire and Ice is kind of playing the big picture version of Tomb, but I think if they get lost in the sauce, this is where I think Discipline could come back. They can easily lose the first couple of rounds, put themselves into a hole, so it doesn't matter what gets switched up, how confident Discipline is playing, is too much overtime.
Well, let's see what they can do here as Inovates is going to throw that flash. He doesn't get anybody stunned up. Now he's got to worry about 2 players in front of him toward that Tomb side of the map. Now the reaction from Toxiq, tries to come out, misses the melee, goes for a second. My man was swinging wildly for a moment there, but it doesn't matter because Rapidz is right there on the flank to help clean up the kills for that first round. My goodness, Jacob. I was getting worried for a moment. My man just started throwing hands. I mean, if you was moving, he was throwing hands at you. He threw 2 melees out to miss both of them. An extra shot. Somebody needs to give him the signal. Somebody needs to tap him on his shoulder and say, calm down, brother. We got this. There's 4 of us.
Oh, spread the love. But Soler, like, nah, on his side of things, he don't want to spread that love. He want to take a lot of the damage. He took 3 of the eliminations. Gnash this time around for Fire and Ice. He's going to be the one getting that first down on to Inovates. and Solaire working together. Who's going to get his 4th elimination in the match? Gnash returning back towards the sniper. Ring around the Rosie, but his teammates die in towards the middle. They get a little bit over aggressive, and they get caught by Discipline. With the sniper in hand by Toxiq, you can see where their plan is set in mind. They're going to use that, get the Torque Bow, try to gather up all these power weapons like the Infinity Stones to hopefully snap their opponents out of existence.
What we do here in the next round, Toxiq mounted up with a long shot. 2v2 situation. Toddy and Gimmo versus Toxiq and Gnash. Both power weapons in the hands of Fire and Ice, though. And I like the fact that Toxiq and Gnash are going to start rotating out. They're going to go toward the top side of the map. They just bounced out of here. They're going to probably go for that shock area, maybe even for those frag grenades. And I like that. They're going to run right past the shock, get into the area of the frags. Toxiq is going to... He's going to see one player, but doesn't have a chance really to... Oh, that quick torque rev almost caught somebody slipping. But now with the frag grenades in hand, you can see them. They're all running back to the... Yo, it is a marathon. Somebody put him on a time clock. Somebody get him on a clock right now.
Finally, it looks like they're ahead of the game just a little bit in this round, because just watching that one, Disciple, you know, the sniper goes to Fire and Ice. They start to rotate down low. Disciple's like, oh yeah, there's a... Oh my God, Gimmo catching Toxiq off guard. Splash damage is going to be there. Can Gnash take advantage? No, he cannot. He's probably going to wait for that overtime. I was going to say a little bit slow to react, but right there was the perfect time. Gimmo wasting no time trying to put that sniper to use. Another body shot. He's going to connect. Gnash only having 1 Torque Bow left in the quiver. Using it right now actually worries me so much for him to be able to win this round.
Yeah,
it's going to be an uphill battle.
I like the shock idea. He's going to throw the shock early to try to get him from being in the hill. Hits a little bit of a damage there. Bounces up, but Gimmo doesn't even give him a chance. I mean, allows him to hit that first shot. Kind of eats it and says, I know you're going to try to bounce in for a reaction. Let me hit you while you slide in after you got some damage done. That is welly scouted by him, and a even better kill. Now we'll move into round 3, all knotted up 1-1. The hill will go to the top side of the map where those fragmentation grenades are going to spawn. Coming out of spawn as well are both squads, sending a multitude of players through the middle of the map. Actually, a little overload here by Discipline. Iron Ice will have an extra player down to the bottom. Flashes are out. Gimmo doesn't get spawned up. He's in a 1v1 against Rapidz. Rapidz has to be careful here. Quick little pick out of that snub. And Toxiq, he has the angle here, but he's not able to put out a ton of damage. He finally gets that down with what could have been the best no trigger of my life. He catches the misroll. Toxiq gets 2 out of 4. It is a 2v1 now in favor of Discipline. The Lance of Fire from Juhvon is true enough for Gimmo to get the down with that Gnasher. Welly executed by Discipline here to take the lead.
I feel like if Fire and Ice just slow things down in both of those rounds, Colin, this is possible. 3-0 lead. Like I was saying in Discipline, it seemed like they were forgetting weapons were on the map, slow to rotate, but it was that moment he forgot to check corners. He got caught. This one as well. They have a good advantage there. For that moment, they're able to go ahead, but Toxiq, he just doesn't take his time, and I feel like that is going to be the thorn in the side there is Gnash. He's quick to strike, but he gets taken out. Toxiq there, he's able to keep him 1 step ahead as they're trying to take a 2v1 towards the top side of the map. That's going to go in way of Fire and Ice. Rapid makes easy work of his 1v1 against Gimmo. Fire and Ice going to be able to tie this series up in quick fashion as soon as they get that first elimination there. But when they're able to slow things down and play for overtime, I feel like they need to continue to play and slow things down. They cannot forget any fundamental steps. They need to play into their experience.
Speaking of fundamentals, Jacob, did you appreciate right there how the player from Fire and Ice was playing down low in that 1v? Knew his teammates had a 2v1, and you could see just how far away from that pillar he was playing. He was not giving up the reaction shot, wasn't giving up the up A. He was making him play for damage. Those are the little micro adjustments that you can make throughout the map, forcing your opponents into worse spots. Inovates, though, he forces him into a quick death as he gets the double bounce, followed by the up A, but now it is a 1v3 situation. Another set of kills comes through, and Fire and Ice, they fire back 2 rounds in a row. They take the lead 3-2 here on execution. And Jacob, anything you saw on that one to give you cause to pause?
I mean, you can see the way they were playing on certain covers right there. Fire and Ice, they were a little bit patient in that round, even though they were playing up with shotguns. You see them backing off of certain covers. They're not getting baited by the quick back A's, the one-shot chunks, the up A scenarios. And I think that's what Fire and Ice needs to continue to do. Even if they're going to play quick and try to strike hot, but you see the switch up in strategy. That's going to be Inovates going up top. Fire and Ice sees that as they go. All 3 players rushing in towards the middle, not giving up that up top angle. That is being played to perfection as they're able to get that first blood onto Gimmo.
Really well done here. You see Inovates coming off the top of that ramp. Rapidz looking around with a torque bow, doesn't find anybody with a first shot. Juhvon holding onto this cover. Inovates right in front of him. And off to the left is Tatis. He's basically holding down that left-hand side, making sure nobody can come on the flank. Nobody can push up this baby steps very easily or for free. Now you see Toxiq maybe pushing into the area. They picked up that long shot. Shot over the top, gets that splash damage, and they're going to try to rotate out here, revving up that torque bow on the quick little trigger. There's the body, but there's the answer. What a shot from Rapidz to get that tag over the top, to get that down. Solar getting down after down, cleanup after cleanup, and Fire and Ice 3 rounds in a row. They've done fantastic jobs to keep the entire roster of Discipline off balance. They have yet to really find a groove. They got back-to-back rounds, but one of them's won by a brilliant play of Gimmo. The second one was the double bounce, followed by the couple of quick kills at the long shot. It seems like if things get spread out here, Fire and Ice continually have an advantage.
Yeah, and you can see right there, instead of rushing in behind those players, no matter how red they were, they just played the long game. And once again, they're not allowing Discipline to catch on to any of their tricks. They go back to that down low meta and catch Tatis slipping. Even with a down on Rapidz, that torque bow is going to finish him off. Gimmo's getting spotted out. That's all Gnash needs is the mark over the top before he connects with yet another torque bow. Inovates trying to catch some players off guard with that frag grenade, saving the second one. I like the usage, throwing that second one deep, trying to catch it. Bounces off a wind cover though. He's going to hurt himself just a little bit. Now his hands are definitely going to be full. 1v4 situation. The first one's going to be given to him. That's the only freebie, Colin. You only get one.
You can only get one, but hey, if you ask Spider-Man, everybody gets one, all right? Everybody gets one. Spider-Man will tell you that. 1 round away for Fire and Ice to knot this thing up at 2-0. I mean, really start to put the bow on top of this present of their first win against Discipline. We come into the next round as we've really seen a couple of different strategies thrown out by Fire and Ice, but it seems like only 1 or 2 of them has failed when they've gotten overloaded. They've gotten multiple men against them in the middle of the map. Here comes an early flash out from Gnash. He's going to get double pushed here by Tatis, and I believe Tati's actually going to get rotated on. Solar gets that first kill now. He gets a second. One more in the backside of the tomb. All down and dead. That's going to be your round. That's going to be your map. Fire and Ice have done a fantastic job here. It took them 8 rounds. They gave up 2, but they win map 2. They take a 2-0 lead over Discipline. Can they finish it off in style in a 3-0 fashion? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the only way for you to find that out is to come right back after this and see Escalation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League. We are in the middle of a heated matchup between Fire and Ice and Discipline. And Jacob, that final round, it might have gone by as quick as a hiccup, but I do believe that Fire and Ice made one of the better plays, the better answers to an initial that I've seen on this map in a long time.
I mean, I told you before it started, Colin, that they just have depth of strategy over this Discipline roster. It might have been as deep as a fitted cap, but it was definitely deeper than this Discipline roster. Even though they were up, even though they had the lead and all the momentum, they still weren't afraid to grab that shock grenade, throw it in towards the middle, which a lot of people don't do, and then bum rush towards that top side of the map. The only thing Discipline did right there was push in towards the sniper, but that was exactly what Fire and Ice wanted in that scenario. So a quick 2-0 series lead. One more map away from shutting it out. We're going to see Escalation on Training Grounds, Colin. And from what you've seen so far, is there any hope for Discipline, or are they going to continue to fall to the bottom of the barrel?
They got to cause a little ruckus. They got to make a classic come out, okay? We got to have a fiesta here. They got to throw out power weapons left, right, and center. I mean, just make Fire and Ice make them mess up somehow, because you saw in the rounds that they were overloaded the middle of the map, but they didn't necessarily have the right strat going. They lost. The back-to-back rounds that Discipline was able to win in that map were the 2 rounds that they were outsmarted, that they didn't really have perfect footing in the initial to have the answer against them. That's what you got to do. That's your only hope. If you go standard, if you go smoke, you know, instant, retro, instant, okay, power weapon after like 7 rounds, just in case. I mean, if we make it there, you're going to lose. You're going to get 3-0'd hot fast and in a hurry. I'm talking silver dollar pancakes hot fast and in a hurry. Them things don't take long to cook at all. They're about the size of a silver dollar. If you don't know what a silver dollar is, you make me feel old right now. All right, you make me feel old right now.
You want things to get, for lack of better words.
Actually, I think I have a silver dollar right up there.
You want things to get spicy in this matchup. But I know what you're talking about when it comes to Fiesta, Colin. You're talking about maybe boom shot at the top side of the map, maybe drop shot in towards the lower half of the map. Heck, you could throw a sniper there if you want, and then we'll worry about secondaries. Maybe we'll worry about secondaries, because especially after that second weapon goes down, I feel like Fire and Ice can no longer think about what's getting built on their side of the map. Yeah, they can continue to, and they will be like 2 steps ahead, but they might not be able to grab that weapon off of the initial, so it's going to be useless at the end of the day, or at least at the beginning of the initial.
Yeah, you neutralize that advantage by having the double power weapons, because then they have to either send 3-1, 2-2. They're just trying to block you out from picking it up while they go pick up their secondary placement, or it's just going to be something they're going to wait to come off a respawn and pick up, and you're going to have to just out initial them. You kind of recreate a different scenario, but you might have some strats for that. You might have an ability to get Fire and Ice to misunderstand the situation in front of them. You pick up a couple of rounds, you take a lead, and then you force them into some worse situations down the road on this escalation. Then you're getting to see yourself a ritual map 4. Who knows? Nobody does. These players only know that they got to load up and get out of respawn here quick, fast, and in a hurry on an absolutely gorgeous map. I love training grounds for those long fights, those elongated fights where you kind of see those extra secondary pushes where you'll see somebody, all right, I got to put shots at the overlook. And as soon as I start putting shots at the overlook, you got to run across the back of the firing range. Once you run across the back of the firing range, you got to return fire to the guy at heaven so I can come down off the stairs. Those things crack me up, but I love to watch kind of how intricate they become, where it's like one domino falls and then he's kind of propped up for a second before he can knock the second one down just to make sure they make the right moves.
Yeah, there's like a certain level of trust that you not necessarily give your teammate. You're forced to give your teammate. Because you mentioned certain battles that cross over the top from Overlook to Heaven. You have to trust your teammates going to win the battle, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much damage you put in if your teammate doesn't win that battle. Same could be said towards the bottom half of the map, towards that U where you're talking about, where you're pushing across. You can put all the damage you want, but if your teammates aren't getting that elimination, aren't getting that meaty shot with the shotgun to get the down, it means absolutely nothing. That's like forced trust in your teammates, and that's why I love the idea that you mentioned of the Fiesta, of that power weapons going down on 2 different sides of the map, to where, heck, you might not win one, you can go ahead and go towards the low half of the map and be victorious on the other and turn that bus around.
Well, as we roll out of spawn on training grounds, we're going to see who's got the driver of the bus in the correct position, as both teams looking to find a win on this map. Fire and Ice looking for it as the 3-0, and of course, Discipline looking to just get their first map on the board. Gnash will be taking over the backside of the U, looking up to the top, trying to return fire here against a couple of players. Inovates, though, gets a beautiful down. Solar Joe's right forward into the face of one player, and I mean, it just seems like a little bit of an overconfidence boost right here. They got a little bit too big for their britches, and they double push across, but Solar almost comes away with a kill anyway.
Solar missed that first chance. He goes for a second one, but really shame on him there for missing that first one. Now you see the Swarm, Discipline, trying to take over that neutral hill. And I like Rapidz not getting over aggressive to try to at least contest the hill, because he knew he would die in that situation, which would give up even more time in the long run. He's just waiting for his teammates to come in with that fresh utility, get the information together, try to spread the defense out before they make their push.
Now Gimmo's going to be down. They're going to try to get a pickup onto him. A little revive out before Gnash gets here. Gnash, though, rotates the corner. Beautiful little reaction there. We'll get that first one, but Tatis steps out. He's going to get taken down and out. Gnash will come away with a double kill here and get the chance to Lancer out across the map. And it looks like Rapidz and Toxiq are up here at the top side of the Heaven, just in a 2v2 position, trying to finish off a couple of kills here. And right there, I mean, he might have had a chance with a little team revive, but instead he just tries to wiggle-waggle, get the shots off, and doesn't get anything. Downs galore. Discipline still with the lead, but they may still lose it, as they have yet to reach that 150-point marker. I believe there's a full well chance for Fire and Ice to come back into this one.
That was easy, like Sunday morning, for them to be able to push through, but that was Discipline making mistake after mistake. Instead of backing down from positions that they don't need, instead of playing into the cross, who was, I think it was Tatis, was it Inovates that went down? It was actually Gimmo that went down towards the top. You don't go down in that scenario. There's nothing to die for, Colin. Now I'm mad.
Nothing to die for, and you have made Jacob mad. Look, there's a few things on this planet you cannot do. One of them is make Jacob mad. You wouldn't like him when he's mad. I mean, no, like I would, dude, so I've gotten to learn to live with that. I don't think I've ever seen Jacob mad. I've seen her mad plenty of times, I'll tell you that much. Here we see Gimmo go down on the rotation. They're coming into this home hill. Was that it? Oh, never mind. They got a shot over the top and the wrap shot. I swear, for God, if my man had gotten a double kill with one pull of the trigger, you'd have heard me lose it.
You can already see Paradise, they took the lead after a great start from Discipline. They're beginning to crumble right before our very eyes, but Fire and Ice, that second hill gets captured. The window of opportunity there is for Discipline, but they're battling back for the hill. Gnash misrolls into his death, so Lair gets it down, but he gets shut down by Gimmo. They're going to go ahead and capture that hill. They're going to get a free decap onto the neutral, so it does look like Discipline was able to go ahead and stop that momentum, and it looks like that's it. That decap coming through, triple cap domination, Discipline able to kind of pull it back. And that was absolutely much needed because after the course, the mid portion of that round with Fire and Ice, or when you fight after just one mistake, great to see them kind of shut it down.
That's a good comeback by Discipline. That actually gives me a lot of hope for them in this matchup because of the fact that they were able to, I mean, look at the positions they kept putting themselves in, and they found a way to get out of that bag, my man. They kept reaching into a bag of upset cats like they were a ball of yarn, and somehow they did not come out shredded.
That's true, but still need to see more.
Have you ever tripped up twice in the same fall and somehow find your way to both feet? That's what they just did.
I have.
That's what they just did. That's what they came away with right there. As we coming around to Gimmo up top, Solar trying to go wide. He'll get reaction shot down. Now Gnash all by himself trying to return fire, trying to find one of these kills. They're going to go wide on him, and that's a couple of kills coming through. 3 straight down and dead. One more player to worry about. Good thing for Fire and Ice that they were able to cap up that B hill. It buys them a few more moments of respite in this matchup. Now the double bounce, trying to find one kill. Won't be able to find either of them. Flashes are going to come out to the top of the stairs. Tatis is going to drop back. Gimmo goes for a fly and die and gets a trade.
At least he got one. That's what he said right when he got there. I got one. That's what he said. Let's see if that 3v4, because his teammate's going to spawn up and be a little bit quicker towards the fight than he is, but a couple of downs, that's going to be able to help the case of Discipline. And those eliminations from Juhvon as he picks up a double is going to help it even more. They're going to try to return to the scene of the crime, back where they left off on that triple cap domination attempt. There's the last 2 players left, and at this time, that's going to be a full-on squad-wide triple cap dominations going to set in. Discipline, 2 back-to-back hot starts, 2-round victories to start off map number 3. Colin, you wanted to see if map number 4, they're trying to serve it up to you.
I'm appreciative of them for that, man. They got to get in the kitchen and cook that bad boy up. Make my dreams come true, ladies and gentlemen. Make them come true, okay? We got double bowl talks. We're about to have some retros being placed out probably, unless Fire and Ice decides it's time for them to switch up the momentum of this map, but that's not going to be right now. We will go into round number 3 with a 2-0 lead here for Discipline. Fire and Ice on the back foot in this map number 3 as well. They do have a 2-map cushion to play around with before we even get to a map number 5. We will be coming to the U fight yet again. This time Discipline with the right-hand advantage. Gimmo in the front of the line. Flash out, he gets stunned, he returns fire. We've seen Rebel do this, we've seen Pittsburgh Knights do this, and now we see Fire and Ice do it. They go for a full flank across the map. They get 1 down. Now they're returning fire in the shotty department. They're going to get a couple of downs, and they finally get the cleanup kill on the 3rd. Revives galore. They will get this and even more as we see now a 1v1 at the B hill for the possibility to win this round 3. This could be a good fight for them, can't you see? It is indeed. And now 3 players off a respawn for Discipline, trying to shut this round down, trying to keep it alive, boys.
Yeah. You been no from me, boss.
Okay. All right, look. I got a lot of happiness over that fight back out of Fire and Ice. I need you to come with a little bit more right there, brother. I need you to bring me something.
I mean, with the retro, seeing those past rounds when it was Bolt Talk or some sort of utility or something like that on the side, I'm okay, maybe you can battle back. But when you have the retro, would you have a massive numbers advantage and then a player that's sitting forward with the shotgun to be able to clean up those kills where his job is so easy that I can do it? it's just hard to kind of battle back from that, even if you're the best team in the game. But Instin's going down for both of these teams, so that instant kill potential off this initial is going to get even stronger, and you can kind of see who's taking charge. That's going to be Toxiq from Fire and Ice, and that's going to be Tatis on the side of Discipline.
Now we'll see them getting the Lancer out. Juhvon trying to get that damage off early as they come to the top of the Overlook. Now Gimmo's going wide. He's trying to get this shot on. He gets heavily damaged. The Incendiary's burning a couple of people alive, one of them being Gnash. Gimmo goes down. Solar on the flank now trying to help his squad mate. They're going to get the down. He can't get either of them. Double up A comes through. Solar gets one. It's now a 1v1 here for the back of the U in the last round of this first half. Juhvon realizes the situation and is trying to play it safe, trying to play out. Big up A from Gnash. Won't be able to get the down onto him, and the meat shield will come through, which should give Discipline a numbers advantage over here.
Oh my God, Gimmo just kind of going ahead and pressing the force. Gnash gonna get taken out. Rapidz winning on this side of the fight, but only for so long as Tatis makes the perfect rotation over. Triple cap domination going out. Toxiq tries to throw a stun. It's not going to come through. Tatis goes back to back with eliminations, but his job is not done just yet. Solar goes in. He's finally going to be the winning force for Fire and Ice to be able to stay alive, who make that neutral hill their temporary home hill to go ahead and buy some time for Gnash and Rapidz to stay alive. They got Toxiq spawning in, utility flying in like the 4th of July. They just need the eliminations to follow suit. Rapidz goes down. That's not a good look. There goes back to back as Gnash goes down. Even with a team down, it's not going to be enough for Fire and Ice as Solars tries to do what he can. He's going to go down. That goes another triple cap domination opportunity, but for this time for Discipline, it's going to be successful. 3-1 to close out the half.
Really do believe that there's a chance here for Discipline to kind of finish this off. They've been picture perfect in almost every round except for the one that they've dropped. My man Juhvon though jumped up over 125 on that ping board, baby. You better call somebody. You gonna put yourself in some bad situations here, son. I tell you that much. See what they can do here as we see what they come away with. Double Incendiaries, double Boltox. My man have to get a couple of kills here. Try to make up for it. Let's see what Fire and Ice has for the answer. A couple of times now, they have been overwhelmed at that Overlook fight, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the fight that we have to continue to focus on, is that mid-neutral hill will flip down here. Flashes over the top. That one actually drops into the middle, so Gimmo kind of has a free flash back. Shot over the top. Gimmo's getting tagged up from the heavens. Backslides in for the down. Juhvon following right in suit. Gets the first on the reaction. Excuse me, a little rab shot. Now Toxiq and Gnash, last two alive for their teammates here at the E-Hill. Last player alive here at the home-to-home stretch is Inovates, and Inovates going to get shot over the top. One more good L trigger here. Could buy him the down, but he only needed 2 pellets, my man. Only 2 of them out of that buckshot.
You see everybody kind of shifting, rotating over with the information. Players towards the top side of the map.
Enemy spotted!
Where, Colin, I feel like we're both right and wrong. We talked about big weapons going down to try to force a play to be made in a situation like that. But Fire and Ice, with the strategy that they have, maybe you throw something middle. Take that fight away from the U, where you've been losing the majority of those fights, the majority of the initials overall, almost all game long. But that's neither here nor there, as this round will continue with Fire and Ice now in the lead. So it's going to be up to Discipline to go ahead and get the offense. Their numbers are going to be known from a mile away as 3 players trying to flash. Lancers galore from Fire and Ice. This looks like an impenetrable setup.
Now we see Gnash trying to get this angle here. Little Lancer shot on a Tatis. 3 players stacked up here. A little retake about to come through. Here comes the flashes. Here comes the push to the top side of the Overlook. The revives are there, and I think Toxiq has to just try to get out of dodge. They're trying to follow him with this damage, with these Lancers output. There is the extra revives, though. And you see Toxiq actually pushing up with the Gnasher out, trying to get at least the kill, but now they've got 1 4v3 official on the map, and they've also won the home-to-home stretch down bottom. Fire and Ice, this is definitively their round, and they do get it with a triple cap domination answer here in the first round of the second half for Fire and Ice. 1 round away from knotting it up.
When I called that an impenetrable setup, Colin, I didn't think they would kind of play it that perfect on the side of Fire and Ice, because the only way it's an impenetrable is if your top player does stay alive. Like we see some of the players of Discipline going down in that very, very similar scenarios. Retros being upgraded. things still following suit. You see, Fire and Ice, all they had to do was backtrack, give up that up top fight, knowing that their player on the down low won that 1v1. Juhvon lost that battle, which put his team in such a pressure cooker that they were forced into a bad scenario. But once again, Tatis and Toxiq taking both of the retros. This time around, Retro is going to go to Toxiq.
Solar trying to get this angle here. I believe he was just holding on for as long as he could, and he does get that reaction kill. Oh, my goodness gracious. Good God almighty. My man dropped the barbecue at his feet. My man said, here's some coal, here's some oil lighter fluid, and here's a match, baby. You're going to burn up. It's going to be a little disco inferno. Get it, baby. On your hands, not like a Saturday Night Fever, because you running hot after I hit you with that incendiary. 2 players coming off a respawn, 1 player holding down that heaven spot. We're going to see the same situation. Discipline is going to have to mount up for a retake at the bottom side of the map. Last time they used 3, who got lancered out and taken down. This time, it looks like they're going to go with the same situation, except we're going to have an early push across the bottom. Inovates will be in a 1v1 against Gnash. It looks like they might actually pull a secondary player over here. Rapidz just to try to help out with the retro. 2 players coming on the left, 1 on the right. Solar's going to get tagged up. He's going to know that he's the opposition's target at this point. He's going to get taken down. Retro shots from Rapidz are not going to get anything just yet. Has to switch to the snub in order to get his own. Now you see the flank from the other side. It looks like Toxiq's trying to get those Lancer shots out to get a down or 2. He's going to be the next call out. This is perfect situation for Discipline as they just keep calling out 1 player after the next. All you got to do is fly at your numbers advantage, get that kill, move on with life. We have a 1v1 here at the D-Hill. Inovates versus Gnash. Big 1v1 as well. As if Gnash wins this and continues to hold on to the home, it puts the rest of Discipline in a very bad fight. But here comes Solar across the bottom side of the map. Shot over the top. Gets the down. They get the home hill right back. Go ahead. Stay in that mid-neutral. We don't need it.
Pulled the Houdini, Colin. They pulled the Houdini on. That looked like a perfect situation for Discipline, but they were rotating around looking for eliminations. Meanwhile, Fire and Ice, they were just playing the objective. They were just gathering the score, and they were even opening up for flanks because they were so focused on the objective. And look at that. All that hard work for that neutral from Discipline right out the window. And they're only giving up their hill on the side of Fire and Ice, knowing they can take their time. And that's the key to victory for Fire and Ice in their matchup. Use the expertise. Use the experience they've gained over the last couple of years playing Gears of War. As Gimmo, he takes a shot. Nash trying to go wide. Flash grenade and an instant towards the backside. 2 straight eliminations for Fire and Ice. They're going to stand tall on the neutral hill as well. Inovates has to go massive here onto this hill to defend this hill, but he gets taken out. Toxiq goes back to back with both of the instants. Solaire wins his 1v1 on the neutral. That is going to be it for this round. Fire and Ice have tied this map up at 3 rounds apiece.
And that's all you can hope for if you are Fire and Ice. You want to tie it up. You want Discipline to start to feel the heat so you can then set them on the bench and put them on ice for the rest of the game. Now we'll see what they can do in this answer round. I mean, this is a big round. Inovates right now struggling in that 1v1 spot. 3-9, and I believe 6 was the amount of assists I saw for him. So he's not even giving as much help as he might need for his team. There's a retro down at the bottom. Answered back. 60 seconds on that secondary retro right now.
Shocked, Colin.
That we saw no power weapons yet?
I'm so sad. We did nothing center line. Not even necessarily power weapons. Not even frags. Nothing. Sniper, M-bar. Something that we're used to seeing from a lot of our top teams, or at least the teams towards the top half of the ranking. But maybe this is what's needed to kind of switch up the meta just a little bit, or to give your team confidence in a lot of these battles, thinking you can kind of do it bare bones. But great flashes both of these teams. That's going to stop that initial battle. Flashes once more, but Toxiq's instant really going to be the difference. They get first blood, and the rain of fire will continue as 3 players are dead off of that initial. Inovates, the shining hope, will survive because he's going to go over aggress the other side of the map to go ahead and get his opponent's home hill.
You see the 2 players from Fire and Ice decapping the F hill. Gnash is going to call out that he's got 1 player trying to come here toward that B hill. Up ace right into him, and the second rollout gets the second shot. That's the kind of kill a guy like Inovates needs to try to get back into this. Inovates now with the retro in hand is going to be putting out a ton of damage. He has a teammate with him. The teammate's going to try to hop the cover and get that revive. Tatis goes down. Now Inovates is trying to run. He's trying to skedaddle out of here. Look at the way that Solar is still holding down the home hill for this long of Discipline. He's kept his team pretty much alive and well in this map, long enough for them to get to their own home hill and get back to the E hill. just keeping that position for that long has kept them definitively in this round 7.
And not only does that do wonders for Fire and Ice, that's such a deflator. That's such an annoying aspect for Discipline that I hope it's not tearing down their communication, the teamwork that they're trying to build up here as everybody's going for the northern portion of the map, as that's where the push is going to come in. Inovates with that retro. He's going to look to try to get aggressive towards the bottom. Win or lose, I think that is going to be the play to try to build up some confidence here. Juhvon towards the bottom, opening up a flank potential. We've already seen this once. He could either flank towards the northern portion of the map or try to flank on towards that neutral. Choice is definitely his, but I think somebody has to cause a distraction if that is going to be the case. Otherwise, we're going to see a straightforward push just like this.
There's Toxiq with Lancer damage to try to stop that first player from coming out. They needed to get some quick reloads off right there. I think they need to go ahead and cook that active on that Lancer. There it is. He's going to get that shots out, but my God, he couldn't land the body shot to get the down as he came up the stairs. That was plenty of damage being put out. Now Rapidz goes to the backside of the E-Hill. Double downs coming through, but the D-Hill will be secured momentarily. But I don't believe, does he push? Yes, they are pushing across, but they're pushing across with Solar through the bottom side of the range.
Now it's just about how quick Inovates and Juhvon can get each other, and are they on the same page to defend this push? Great flash from Fire and Ice because how red Gnash was. They're able to get that decap onto the hill to at least keep them one step ahead, even if the capture doesn't come through. Flash towards the backside. That's not going to stun Gnash, but the damage is going to get the down. Even a team down. Tatis gets the team down over the top from the cross, and that's going to cause a big blunder. Juhvon goes down. Inovates is going to get taken down, and Juhvon, he actually finally goes down. It was Inovates early on who got taken down. Now Fire and Ice will reign supreme, especially with a revive like that. It's going to come to wild plays towards the end of this one. Inovates 1v3 scenario. He gets shut down. 2 players in a 2v1. No matter what happens, it's not going to be enough. Fire and Ice, no matter how chaotic it got, they were focused as can be to hold strong 3 rounds in a row, Colin, to build this momentum, and they're looking to shut the series out in a 3-0 fashion.
I mean, well played by them. That incendiary was long distance. My man probably paid a hefty price to get that thing shipped across the size of this map right now. Looking at the overlook here for Tatis, but instead they're going to go over and disable those incendiaries. It looks like Fire and Ice have gone for the match point disable like we've seen so many times before. We're going to be on board here with Fire and Ice players, starting off with Solaire, but here we go. Nice little ghost cam, follow cam scenario going on. Let's see what they can do here as they have to take advantage of their numbers here at the bottom. And it looks like they're going to have a 2v2 up top. Gnash is going straight across. Gnash got off a big damaging shot, and it forces them to kind of switch positions. Solar hits another one. That was just a beautiful bait and switch right now. I mean, you'd have thought they were in a commercial. You got to be quicker than that if you want to catch us.
I don't think Tatis going to be quicker than that. He continues to get shut down. Inovates on the other side of the map. He has to win this battle. There's so much pressure as he gets shut down. I think it's going to be a mountain to climb. Fire and Ice might be able to shut this one down, barring any miracles. Juhvon gets 1. He's the miracle they need. He gets 2. Retro towards the back. Rapidz unable to get the down, but his team is still in an advantageous position. They need to survive. They need to backtrack, wait for the respawn to get through. Even if they do, but Rapidz goes down. But the respawn, they're there in time. Are they going to be able to get the revive? No. Juhvon continues to go on that tear. That's going to be his 3rd elimination in a row. Toxiq trying to be the hero. He gets a down, but that's it. But Solars, he gets 1. Solars gets 2. He goes back to back. He's staying alive. He's juking. He's jiving, trying to take a page out of Tony's playbook, but he gets shut down. Finally, Gnash is there, though. The teamwork continues to shine bright throughout all this chaos.
What a good couple of kills. What an amazing sequence by Fire and Ice to stay on top of the fight, stay in control of it as well, and keep their teammates up. Right now, we're going to see what they can do here in these final few moments, as it is a 100-point differential. Discipline will have very tough sledding in front of them, and they're going to have to come away with a pretty big team fight win in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Looking around the map just now, and they have yet to kind of find that opening. They've tried this multiple rounds in a row. 3 players pushing toward the E-Hill, and they finally get the win that they've been looking for. Here comes the Launcher Fire out of Gnash up top. He's going to have a ton of damage here, and he's going to try to back up, but he gets tagged up yet again. That is 2 times we've seen Gnash not get enough help or get the shots necessary, but I don't even know if it matters because they are up over 200 points, well within hand of winning this round. Discipline stays there for that deep cap. And Solar with a pretty big brain play, if you ask me. He comes to the middle of the map and gets the down. And now all Rapidz has to do is stay on cover, hit back A's, and do his job. 4 down and dead. That's all she said. It's going to be the map, and it is indeed going to be the match as Jacob, Fire and Ice find their first win here in the Pro League in 3-0 fashion. And boy, howdy, what a way to do it on map 3 with a comeback.
When you have a game plan, Colin, when it's set in stone, you got the binders, you got the pages, the story's already written for you. You just got to focus up and play your game in Fire and Ice. No matter how chaotic it got, like I said in a couple rounds, they stayed true to that teamwork, because we all know teamwork definitely does make the dream work. And I think that's why we're a good combination here.
I mean, teamwork does make the dream work. I try my best to live up to the standards that you set before me, but you raised the bar oh so high. I better find myself a pair of wings, an elevator, an escalator, and possibly a couple of planes if I ever want to reach those heights. But this was a fantastic outing by Fire and Ice. They really showed a couple of good progressive steps forward. I understand they were going up against Discipline, but even in the matches and matchups where they started to have things fall apart, where we were worried about that in the opening, where we said that's when they start to really go wrong, when they get a little chaotic and they can't figure out what the next step is. This was just a good sign for them going forward, that they were able to kind of settle their tea kettle and make the right play calls, really get back into these engagements.
And we kind of said it, though. It's kind of started. Discipline, they're an incredibly skilled team when it comes to mechanics, but teamwork is what matters. Teamwork is the major skill gap when it comes to this game and separates a lot of our elite teams. And you can win in those little moments. You can have great hill stands to go ahead and buy some time, but at the end of the day, if you're not working as a team, if you're not that well-oiled machine where no team can be, you're going to fall to. You're going to have so many mistakes, and that's going to cost you at the end of the day for this.
And it cost them the match, and Discipline, they had to pay the price for it as we see Fire and Ice get their first win. And on your screen, there's a bunch of highlights from this map because it is one of our more immediate battling maps. It's one of the maps we've seen a lot more tough arguments come out of from Discipline, but I mean, there's still just a ton of them to go in the favor of Fire and Ice, especially toward the later half of this map. I really think that they played so well. Once they understood kind of the position that they were trying to be put in by Discipline, they just played it better. They were more understanding of the extra team fire, the positions, the defensive stands they had to make to really make life difficult on everybody. I mean, that's still, to me, this is still probably one of the best plays in the entire map. That stand in heaven by those two players from Fire and Ice, that was picture perfect for them.
Yeah, it's a double kill. And one of the biggest things that I think you can kind of agree on, we thought this was going to become a weapons fiesta, power weapons anywhere, because we thought that was Discipline's greatest chance in this map 3 in particular. But they came out to a hot start. They were up 3-1 to really close out the half. But when things started to go wrong, is it wrong for me to think? Is it wrong for me to say that's when finally they should have started to put those weapons out, because they started to lose those battles? You got to think Fire and Ice caught on, they downloaded them, they figured out their strategies, so they needed to switch something up. And I think a big weapon, something major to fight over somewhere else on the map, could have been the key for Discipline.
I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. As a matter of fact, I think that's one of the problems we see with these young teams is they're almost, I don't want to say afraid to do that, but it's like they always feel like they're overconfident in their own ability. They're saying, look, we can get it back. We can win that next round. We can do that. Sometimes you just got to kind of take a deep breath, suck it up, and say, something's going wrong now. They've started to figure that out. Let's try plan B, try plan C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. I don't even care if you get into the zetas, thetas, and alphas out here. You just got to keep throwing the playbook at them until something works, my man. It's like cooked spaghetti. You throw it against the wall, and until it sticks, you got to keep cooking it.
Yeah, especially since you counter the fact if they were to put that somewhere else on the map, not towards that U, that would have gave them something extra for that retake, because you saw more often than not Fire and Ice almost picture perfect defense towards that top half of the map. A few mistakes they did have, you kind of pointed out, specifically towards that last one, Gnash. It wasn't necessarily him not getting the help. He needs to realize there's no hill up there. There's no weapon up there. He can give it up. He can give up that position to the players and just kind of trap them up there. Regardless, congratulations to Fire and Ice.
Congratulations again to Fire and Ice. It was a fantastic match number 1. But we are nowhere near done for the night. We have 2 more hot matchups ready for you to all take in, but the one on the docket says Team Queso versus Pioneers. That's after this commercial break.